Hey there, Maplers! Did you guys know that I am negotiating Classic World beta keys with Inkwell directly? Well, let me show you a clip of that so you know how the negotiation is going. I'm just hoping that my arguments get through him soon, but in the meantime, today's video is about how much change is too much change in Classic World. And I am making this video because our boy Coppersan recently made a video talking about what are his hopes for Classic World and the changes that they should implement, and boy oh boy, the reception was quite bad. It is true that most of his ideas were quite bad for the classic experience that we all expect, and we're going to talk about why that's the case. But you have to understand that Coppersan is mainly a modern MapleStory player and a modern MapleStory content creator. Because of it, I took his ideas with a grain of salt, and the way I saw them is like, there is this modern MapleStory player kind of that would like to get into the game with some changes, and even though some of his ideas are not the greatest, maybe they could be tailored in a way that us classic Maplers like them and accept them. So let's just go ahead and see what counts as too much change into the classic experience and what doesn't. So let's get started. So here is a section of the post that Coppersan made after his video, and I want to focus on the dailies and battle passes section first. The reason why there is a lot of negative sentiment towards it is because of what Nexon has done with them in modern MapleStory for us, let's say classic Maplers, because probably modern MapleStory players do like the dailies there, but honestly the dailies in modern MapleStory, they are terrible. And why that is? Well, if you go through the dailies in modern MapleStory, is basically you take a quest, kill 100, next, take a quest, kill 100, take a quest, kill 200, next a quest in different sections of the map, and that's basically it. And because now grinding in the game, like in modern MapleStory, is meaningless and everybody one-shots everything, there is no like something interesting going on. You don't get anything out of it. You don't get drops. You don't get like anything outside of doing the daily. They feel like a chore, and most of the times dailies do feel like chores if you make them too powerful. So if you make, let's say, a daily that gives you like a very good chunk percentage of your XP throughout different parts of your level experience in Classic, what is going to happen is that literally people would just log in, do the dailies, and kind of log out because like obviously some people would still grind because they want certain items or whatever, but a lot of people would just like do the dailies and continue with their lives. It's like, okay, I did the dailies already, bye, and just disconnect. So that creates that forced play mechanic that it's been pointed out right here on the post. And that's one of my main problems with dailies overall, like throughout actually different other games, because it creates that situation where, oh, I have to log in to do the dailies and perhaps get this reward, get more experience, because other avenues to get experience are not worth it and whatever. So I don't think that's healthy for the whole what Classic should be overall, or what we expect from it. Now the question is, can daily quests work in MapleStory Classic? And I think the answer is yes, if they are done properly. Can Nexon do it properly? I don't know. But I can give you an example with a server that I used to play a couple of months ago, where they implemented many changes like that go with classic formula and whatever, and one of the things that they did was dailies. Do you guys remember the kill 999 like mobs kind of thing? Well, they made a lot of these quests. They created new ones like with new different like posts, wanted posts and why not. And the way they work, the dailies, is basically you kill 999 of X in the dungeon, and you have to traverse to this like area in the dungeon to be able to get these quests, kill the things, and then just like you get a little bit of experience. Nothing crazy. It's not like oh, this is the meta or whatever, but you got a little bit of experience and a random chance to get certain amount of items that do not break the game. It's like maybe some pots, and maybe a 10% scroll that is not like super powerful or whatever, and that was it. And I think that idea of dailies with kill 999 wanted posts, I think is interesting for two reasons. Number one, it's not even something that it would grant you an excessive amount of experience. And number two, it would be something that would make, let's say, people even in higher levels to go back to Victoria Island and interact with the island still a little bit more. Because after a certain level, you don't want to go to Victoria Island to get certain things or do certain things. And having those kill 999 quests, especially with the classic formula where you don't one-shot everything, it created in that server that I told you guys about a very fun and interesting dynamic where people socialize with each other and say, hey, let's get together to do the 999, let's do this thing, I'm gonna traverse, I'm gonna travel, I'm in Ludi, but I'm gonna get there, don't worry about it, like things like that it did. And I think dailies like that would work with classic. Can Nexon do it? I don't think so. Now, the Battle Passes take is one of the worst ones, I would say, and definitely goes against with what MapleStory Classic should be like, which is you take your own time. It's a grindy game, so you should take your own time, log in, log out, and probably take breaks, and if you don't want to play this week, it's fine. But if you do add a Battle Pass into a Classic experience like MapleStory, it would just like change the dynamic of the game where, oh my god, I don't want to miss this reward, so I have to log in even though I don't want to, which generates a little bit of tiredness on people. It's like creates the chores aspect that the dailies in current modern MapleStory create. The next part I want to talk about is the XP rates increasing aspect of the MapleStory Classic experience. There is a lot of division in this topic even within the Classic community, and I have talked about this before, and to put it simple, too much change on that regard would be like, in my opinion, 2x XP rates or more than this amount, like 3 times or 5 times or 10 times the amount that we used to get. And the reason why I disagree with increasing the XP rate flat out, just like everything has 2 times or more, is that it will not make the classic experience feel as genuine as it used to be. And also, what this would do is that older maps that were good will be better, and bad maps that were not very good will be worse now because the other maps that were good now are too good, if that makes sense. Now, what's a good change, you ask? Well, in my opinion, would be modifying the XP rates of mobs individually rather than a flat out rate, because this would make mobs that were not as good or as attractive, quote unquote, to train on them more attractive, and people would just levitate towards those places more. I'm gonna just give you an example that it's not a particular example that I'm saying, oh, this is a problem that needs to be fixed with these mobs, but let's say leveling at coolie zombies like was very good. It was like one prime spot that people used to go to. Leaving the XP rate of them like that, it should be fine. But let's say drummy bunnies that were not as popular, increasing the XP rates of drummy bunnies would be good. And like I said, I'm not saying these 2 mobs particularly should be changed, but it's just to give you an idea of what I mean. Nexon should analyze the XP rates of every mod and changing it a little bit depending on how popular, how broken maps is. In fact, they could even increase the spawn rates or how many mobs are in certain maps to make it even more attractive in this case. And also, if you make the quests, for example, more appealing, if they increase the XP rates of quests overall, because there are quests that give trash XP that are not worth it, it would increase how fast people level up without even altering the classic experience too much and without altering the XP rates of anything. Doing 1.5x XP rate, it's fine with me, I guess. I think that's a fine way too. Some people even disagree with that, but I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's fine with me, but I'm just a bit neutral on that amount. But like if they increase it like too much, I mean, I think it would be too bad. And I think that's the best way, like the healthy way to make the classic experience better. Increase the rates of every single mob like individually to balance it rather than everything one flat out increase. So the last thing is about fixing what's broken. Copper-san didn't make a mention of this. Most people don't actually, but I have made mentions of certain things that are broken, and a lot of purists hate any change whatsoever in the game. And this includes broken things in the game. Changing what does not work does not mean that you will move away from the classic experience. If something was broken and nobody was using it in the classic, it's not classic. An example of this would be the crafting system that I have talked about in previous videos. If Nexum makes the crafting system more viable with its old classic formula, meaning like keeping it as classic as possible, like with the same vibe, that's a good change. Now, what's too much change on that? Making it better than anything else in the game. It should be a good alternative, but not a replacement of what we know of. And what I mean by this is like, if you make the crafting system, literally the items that you craft are way better than the normal ones that you get drops from and whatever, it's gonna kill the classic experience a bit, because now you have to, it's kind of like a new game at that point. Like, the crafting should be an alternative, not a replacement. Things like the armor formula, for example, which also I have talked in other games, are things that should be fixed too, or would be part of a good change. Armor has zero impact in the game, and I have talked about this before. And if Nexum makes it work, it would be so good of a change. A bad change would be to make it obviously too overpowered. Same thing with skills that are useless. Removing them or changing them does not alter the classic experience. It just changes or enhances it in a way that those skills were not like, those skills are now like viable. Like, those skills that you never used in classic are not part of the classic experience, like I said. So making changes like that, it's good and healthy as long as you don't kill the other things that used to exist in the past. So that's for the purists out there that really hate change. Overall, that's all I have to say when it comes to Coppersan's video and post. If you look at the little graph that he made there when it comes to the different comments and topics, daily quests and battle pass are obviously the ones that people hated the most for a good reason. And boost XP, there is a little bit of mentions there. People are on the fence on that one. And there is other topics as well. And the way I took his video and comments are coming from a, like I said, modern MapleStory player. And I think people should take it just like that and understand that they are also interested in participating in the classic experience, and they would like to see some change. And the changes that they're proposing, they could be good as long as they are managed or they are taken within the classic experience, like context and environment overall. So that's that for today. If you like the video, obviously make sure to like and subscribe and all. So I will see you in the next one. So take care.